Okay, very good. Now we'll go ahead and start reviewing the course itself. Let me go ahead and share my screen now. All right, now we're back to the Canvas page, and we're going to click on Start here. The home page of our course in Canvas for Accounting 210 is showing Start here, so we'll click on it. And then what we have are a number of links. The two most important links you need to get to immediately, if you haven't already done so, is the syllabus and the calendar. Let's go ahead and pull up the syllabus and see what we got here. I'm gonna have to work around this quickly. Put this over here. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. All right, I think that's enough. So this is a little bit of my bio. I think I've actually already talked a little bit about it here online, but you can read through it. Class information, our class started 2 days ago. This is a strictly online class. There is an optional Zoom meeting, which we're holding today. And then I would recommend that you use a USB flash drive. If you're going to be moving from one computer to the next and you want to transfer your data, or you want to be able to take that data to another computer, then a flash drive is really a good idea. I'll give you a heads up. You have to have a pretty fast USB port, and the flash drive has to be pretty quick too, because sometimes this could be a problem with putting the entire QuickBooks file on it. And you might get a few errors and may have to just do some connectivity. It's as if it gets disconnected every now and then. But just have a little bit of patience with it. It'll work. It just sometimes when you have a slower USB drive, you'll get hiccups. All right. And then you'll have to get the QB, the QuickBooks trial software, and we'll talk about how to download it. Now, I will give a heads up here. The QuickBooks software is not compatible with Mac computers. So if you have a Mac computer, you're dead in the water. It's not going to work in this class. You're going to have to find a PC. It also won't work with any kind of, those Google Chromebooks, or you really have to use, a PC for this, right? Now, the good news is that there are some laptops that you can check out from the College of the Sequoias. So if you haven't already done so, I would visit the library yesterday, especially if you don't have a PC, and ask that you check one of those out immediately. So, and it has to be PC based, okay? They'll try to give you a Chromebook as well. You can't get a Chromebook. It has to be a PC, all right? And it'd be like a laptop, all right?
Andy.
Yes.
So I went to the library today and I told them my situation and he said no. So he made me go through like this thing through Canvas, but it's still not working for me. Yeah, because he said that they were limited on
they would
Windows.
limit what?
So do I just go for one?
They would limit what?
That they're limited on the Windows PCs.
Yeah, will you tell them that the AWS, which is what he's trying to get you to use, is not consistent. You can tell him that the instructor, my experience is that the AWS, which is what he's trying to push you to actually use the web-based, it doesn't work because we've got licensing issues from QuickBooks when we're downloading, and you've got to install the QuickBooks and it just doesn't work. So you need to let him know that I said that that's required, okay?
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. Let's see. So here's what we got, the QuickBooks Desktop 2021 Comprehensive. This is what we need to do. It is the desktop version. There is an online version for QuickBooks, but it's been my experience that particularly CPAs and people who want to use QuickBooks on a regular basis prefer the desktop version because the desktop versions are much more robust. Now, at some point in time, the online versions maybe work just as well, but at this point in time, that's not the case. And so in my office and in most CPA firms and in all my client offices that I work with, I check that. There are a couple of my clients that actually use the online versions, but comparatively speaking, desktop is the one that's being used right now. So I'll continue to teach the desktop version until I start to see that that's not the case. And I imagine at some point in time, once they get the online versions to be as robust as a desktop version, which at some point in time that will happen. But until that happens, we're going to continue to learn the desktop versions. And what you're going to get when we figure it all out, you're going to actually get a 140-day trial software with QuickBooks Desktop 2021. All right. And I provide a link here, but we'll go ahead and talk about that download in just a little bit. Here's your course goals. You can read through that. Here are your student learning outcomes. You can read through that. This is the chapters that we're reviewing. Evaluations. What's important here is we're going to review the points and how they're allocated, but number 3, somehow I'm not real good with numbers. You can see that 1 to 3, right? Okay. Anyway, late assignments will not be accepted. In other words, there are specific deadlines on the assignments, and they will not be accepted if they are late. Okay. With the exception of chapter 1, all assignments must be submitted using ELab by the due date and time listed on the calendar. So that's even going to give you a little bit more time to get the PC and download the software, because you're not going to necessarily need QuickBooks. Are you going to need it? No, I don't think you're going to need it for the first one, because you're not going to be creating a QuickBooks file. So you have quite a bit of time. And when I say quite a bit, I think there's at least two weeks that you're going to, in order to get everything set up. So make it happen if you haven't already done so. And we'll talk more about how this will all work for you. There are no makeups for tests or quizzes. So if you miss it for whatever reason, you will get a 0. Now, okay, when I say late assignments are not accepted, are there exceptions? And the answer is, of course, there could be exceptions. The rule of thumb for me is if you have a medical emergency of some sort, then absolutely we will, but you have to let me know, not like at the end of the semester and tell me, well, 3 months ago I was in the hospital. No, let me know while it's happening, and then we could see if we can work something out in terms of a schedule. When I say medical emergency, it doesn't have to be you. It could be a family member, and I'm real sympathetic. And the other thing I'm very sympathetic to is when you have a passing in the family and you have to make arrangements and what have you. So I'm very sympathetic to that as well. I have to be, and I actually experienced a severe case of COVID. So I understand that can really be something that's hard to deal with. So we'll definitely work with that. But absent of some type of medical emergency, it's not likely I'm going to give you an extension. And the example I'll give you is if you tell me you've had a real tough week at work and that you're going to have to work around that. This is an online class, and so the whole structure of this is to be more flexible with your time and how you make that work. So that will not be an acceptable excuse or a reason for me to give you an extension. The other thing is technical issues, particularly after the first or second week down the road. Once everything is settled, then if you've got a computer or a laptop or something that's giving you some trouble, then you're going to have a backup in place so that you can run. Now, where's your backup? Well, at the very least, that there are schools at COS. The library has computers, and they're all loaded with the QuickBooks software. So there's in the Kern building at Fresno State, where the business classes are, they have a QuickBooks 2021 loaded on those machines. And there's a specific classroom that has all the computers in there. I want to say it's 717. It's either 717 or 714, but I think it's 717. But if you need that and you're not sure where it's at, let me know, and I'll make sure I'll figure out exactly which class has the which one has the QuickBooks loaded on the actual computers. Okay, so again, late assignments are not accepted, but I explained to you what exceptions may apply. Any questions about late assignments, makeup tests, quizzes, and also at the end of the semester, you might be asking me if there are any extra credit options, and the answer is no, there are not. So we got to make sure we get our assignments done, we get them done and completed on time, and we're good to go. Any questions so far of what we've covered? Very good. Now, as part of an online course, there are some discussions requirement, and you can think of the discussions as really as kind of a substitute for the requirement to be in a classroom and having some kind of interaction with both the instructor and the students. And essentially, you're going to get every week. Well, let me just read this verbatim so it's very clear what's going on. The students will be required to participate in weekly online discussions The online week will begin on Monday at 12 a.m. So our week started this week at 12 a.m. and ends on Sunday, 11:59. Now, before you press the panic button, there's no discussions for grades required in week 1. So, you don't have to worry about our first week here, but definitely on week 2 is when grading applies. So make sure you have this down before we start our next week. Each week, the instructor will post discussion questions in the discussion forum located in Canvas. During the online week, the students will be required to post one reply message that contains 2 well-developed paragraphs and clearly addresses the discussion questions. The instructor will not consider a single sentence paragraph as well-developed. So you will not get any points for your response if it's just a single sentence. This is either you made it or you didn't make it, okay? You either replied to it completely or you didn't. So you'll get all the points for this or you won't. In addition to the one reply, you have to have 2 posts that replies to 2 other student posts. Your reply post must be substantive. Substantive, well, oh my goodness, what does that mean? Well, let's take a look. You must demonstrate or show evidence of critical thinking and meaningful interaction with the posting, as well as course resources, and ask engaging questions or provide insight into the discussion. So again, I agree. Well, let me go ahead and finish reading here. Both quantity and quality are important considerations when posting substantive messages. For example, I agree is not considered substantive because it does not add anything of substance to the discussions. A single sentence post will not be considered substantive. I've said it twice, all right? I've said it twice to you. Single sentences do not work, all right? So at the very least, you better be planning on doing at least 2 sentences, but I'm going to tell you that for the most part, a 3-sentence reply to your fellow students is probably closer to what you're going to be looking for. The first sentence will be acknowledging what they posted, saying, hey, I like what you said about this. The second sentence is going to be an elaboration on what they posted. And then the third sentence may be a follow-up question. So if you want a rule of thumb, if you put together a 3-sentence post at a minimum of 3-sentence posts, then it's likely going to be substantive. Now, if you put a 3-sentence post that simply is just gobbledygook, then you're not going to get points for that. The way the grading works is your reply to the initial discussion questions. Students will earn 50% of the weekly discussion points by responding to the initial discussion question. So you're going to get half of the points for the week for discussions, just for replying to the original questions. From then on, you're going to get 25% for each follow-up post with your students or your student posts. So 25% to one student, 25% to another student, that's a total of 100%, all right? So at a minimum, you're going to be looking at every week posting 3 times, okay? Student messages posted in the questions thread will not count towards participation. There is a questions thread in Canvas, and that will not count as participation for purposes of our grades, okay? All right, so let's take a look on Canvas quickly. Let's see. Let's go to the discussions. And so the first week is just an introduction and an introduction. So here it looks like some people have already gone in and started interacting with how do you prefer to be called, your education goals. This clearly says not graded, so this is not something I'm going to even look at for in terms of your grading. I'll read through every one of them, but I'm not going to pay attention for grades. All right, so that's good. People are sitting there. Oh, there's a picture. Here's a picture. Oh, somebody's having a good time. Oh, nice. Let's see. What else do we have? Nobody else is posting pictures. Oh, there's another one. Oh, Soledad, that's nice. Let's move on. Okay, so you got a feel for the discussion this week. Now let's go look at an example of what's going to be required for next week, which will be week 2. And so week 2 will be questions related to chapter 1. And you see 1, 2, 3 questions within a question. And then the second question has just one question. So this should be relatively easy to meet the requirements because you can't just answer 3 questions with 1 sentence, right? So I made it easy for the first one. The second one, you better make sure you elaborate. But again, that first reply should be 2 paragraphs. And there are 2 questions, so dedicate 1 paragraph each to each question, okay? Then once you're done with that, you post that and then post 2 replies to other students, all right? You guys following? Everybody follow? Any questions so far?
I have a question.
Yes.
So for the response that we give each student, are we supposed to do just the minimum of the 3 sentences or 2 paragraphs as well? Or just as long as it's
The replies, it has to be substantive. There's really no word count at all, except I'm going to
Okay.
tell you that if you want a safe bet, replying with 3 sentences would suggest
minimum?
that it's substantive.
okay.
Like I said, if it's just blah, 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 then that's 3 sentences of blah, blah, blah won't work.
Okay. All
Um,
right. Thank you.
But the responses to the DQs, I mean, that's going to be tough to do just 3 sentences, even each paragraph. So that should be much more elaborate. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have a question. The discussion questions, are those available anytime or are they like available as we're going to each chapter?
They're available during the online week. So week 2, will not be available until week 2 starts, and it'll start on Monday morning and then end on Sunday night the following. So just in that online week is when the discussions will be available for that week.
Okay, another question is, after how many chapters do we have like I don't know if a quiz or a test?
We'll get to the calendar right now, which will show.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Any other questions so far? What we covered on the so far? We're not even done with the syllabus so far. Okay, let me go ahead and pull up the syllabus again and make sure we're gonna finish this off. Okay, so we just finished discussing or reviewing the discussions. Let's move on to the drop policy. You can read through that. The next is the grading. Here are the grade and points, the way they're allocated. There's a total of 1,460 points. Now, 260 points are associated with discussion and participation. If you ask me, which I know there are going to be plenty of people who disagree, but discussion, that should be the easiest part of the grades because you just simply have to go in and respond to those discussion questions whenever you need to. There's no real computation. There's no trying to figure things out. It's just, you do have to read the textbook, that's for sure. And then you could be able to answer them. But those should be pretty easy points for you. That's about almost 20%, right? And then you have the remainder of the elements. Now, exams, homework assignments, quizzes. I will tell you that homework assignments, you have unlimited attempts to get your homework assignment done. So the way it works, and I'll show you when we get to that point, is that you're going to be working in QuickBooks and then you're going to be submitting a file into a grading system that will then give you a grade on that particular assignment. And then whatever grade it is, if you're happy with it, you can move on. But if you're not, if you wanted to do better on it, then you can keep submitting it until you receive the grade that you're looking for. The quizzes and the exams and the final exam are all just one attempt. They're not timed, so there's no issues with timing. So therefore it is open book. All right, so you will have the ability to take the exams with everything available, to all your resources available to you. I will normalize the grades if it appears that a particular quiz or a particular exam seem to be tougher than all. What I usually do is look at the high scores. And if the high score, let's say, what are the points for the quizzes? There's 10 points. So if the high score is is a 90%, then everybody gets a plus 10% on it, all right? And in most cases, the average score is going to be about 75 to 80%. So if for whatever reason I look at the scores and it turns out to be that the average score was more like 65%, then everybody's going to get a 10% bump up in their scores, okay? So I look at both the high score and I look at the average. What that suggests, if you want an A for sure, then just make sure you got the high score all the time. If you want a C, then make sure you have at least the average score of everybody, right? Once that, then you're good to go. So the quizzes are 10 points each. The homework assignments are 10 points, and there's quite a bit of assignments and quizzes as well. So, you know, you just have to get through those. And then the final exam is going to be comprehensive. It's 100 points. That's 6.8% of your grade. Any questions about the points?
I do have a question. In regards to the quizzes and the exams, you mentioned they are not timed.
No.
So my question would be, is like, if you're like brain tired and you need to walk away, is there a way to stop it and come back to it, or it has to be all one sit down?
Honestly, I don't know, but I wouldn't roll that dice. I'd make sure you're well rested. So when you sit down and start taking it, you sit, get it. I don't believe that's the case. I don't think you can walk away.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But honestly, I don't know because I haven't taken the quizzes myself.
Okay.
So, but just make sure you're ready to go and well rested, and do a few sit-ups and jumping jacks, and then a couple push-ups. You should be ready to go.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Any other questions?
Question.
Yes.
How many question comes in the quiz or in the exam? Is it just 10 or is it more than 10?
I set these up a long time ago. I'd have to
The
go.
reason I'm asking is because what she said, that if you're too tired to walk away, I mean, if it's 10 point, then we could do it. But if not, then we have to really rest. And
No, you know what, my experience, because I look at the amount of time students take to take these quizzes and exams, and I haven't seen anybody take more than, on the exams, I haven't seen anybody take more than 2.5 hours. On the quizzes, most of them get done within about a half hour. So.
Okay.
You know, the very first one will be the quiz, and you know, if I've never had issues with timing on this at all, but if you have an issue, let me know. And naturally, I'll go back and look at whatever other students are doing, because I pay a lot of attention to how much time and effort it's taking for you guys, and I've never had any issues with that. Some issues with other things like the grading system, especially because you're going to benefit from the fact that I found at least 3 errors in the grading system the last semester, and you know, I had to adjust for those, but every one of those I sent over to Labyrinth, which is the publisher, and this was a brand new system last semester. So they fixed them all. So I'm hoping they fixed them all, and we'll see. But if they don't, if it turns out there's a grading error, and I can tell whether they're grading errors because I've got all the tools on my side to tell exactly what's going on. So if there's some grading errors, I yell at them for you guys, say you're screwing this all up, because then what you're trying to do is you keep attempting, and it's taking your time, and it's ridiculous that you have to deal with an error that's a grading error. But I think they're all, I believe that they're all fixed, and given that they're all fixed, I think we should be good to go this time around. So you guys got the benefit of the previous semester where they were like the guinea pigs of this new, because we just switched to 2021. And so you're good to go. Hey, Yvonne, I'm sorry to keep you up, huh? Jeez.
I've been up since 5 this morning. I'm sorry.
Early bird.
That's okay. I'm about ready to yawn myself now. I guess I'm just so boring. I'm ready to yawn for me. Okay. Any other questions that you have before we move on? Okay, any questions about the points? Okay, to use the Kern building computers, you will need a permit. I can get you one. Well, I think you will. I'm not even sure if they're enforcing it, but if you want to use those Kern building computers, let me know. Otherwise, the library computers, and I think there's at least 2 of them that have the software installed on it. And when you go into the library, you just let them know you're on the QuickBooks class, and then they'll walk you through to where they're at. Okay, food and drink is prohibited when you're working on your computers. I'm monitoring everybody, so as soon as you're sitting on your computer, if you have food or drink next to you, you're gonna get zapped.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, put your food and drink away. Huh? I'm just kidding. I'm not monitoring. That's kind of creepy, but no, and I don't monitor your work at all. There's no way for me to do that. I do see what your grades are and what you submit. All right. So no cheating or plagiarism. And it's kind of difficult to do that in this course because essentially you have to submit your own reports. So we do have a final exam that's going to be due on Monday, May 16th at 4 p.m. Everything is online. So that's just the due date of the final exam. Any question about the syllabus at all? Any questions at all? All right, so let's close the syllabus. Let's go to the course calendar. Okay, so let me blow this up a little bit to make it. It's kind of tricky because I don't have my dual monitors up right now, so we're going to try to do this. But in essence here, you'll see that this week here, this is week 1. This is all the weeks that we're working on. Week 1 started Monday, it ends on Sunday. And all we're really doing is getting everything set up. So there's no real push on a timing for anything to be submitted. And there's no grading assignment, but you're ultimately are going to try to review the materials, do the downloads, get your computer set up, ready to go, get your access codes ready to go, and you'll be good. Your homework due date is Monday, 1/17, but what that means is that you got to get everything set up so that by Monday, you're ready to go, all right? And we're good to go for week 1. Week 2 starts next week. We have chapter 1. You're going to read chapter 1, complete all to develop your skills and reinforce skills. You have 2 assignments that are, well, 2 submissions that are required. There are the AYS 1-2 and the chapter 1 submit AYS 2 and the get a grasp on accounting principles. There are 2 worksheets that need to be submitted, and I'll show you what they are. But you do have to actually have chapter 1. You have to have your ELab set up for sure, so that you can take your chapter 1 quiz. Both of these assignments are due on the 24th, which is a little less than 2 weeks from now. So you still have a little bit of time, but you got to get that all set up. From then on, everything is just academic. Everything is the same every week. Well, by the way, just to repeat ourselves, and this is important. I actually posted it just to make it clear to everybody. Your online week starts, as an example, in week 2 starts the 17th and ends on the 23rd. Your discussions, just as I mentioned to you before, are all due by Sunday at 11:59, the 23rd, okay? Everybody clear on that? Your discussions. Now your homework, I need you to think about it this way, because I've had students come at me and say, well, why do you do that? Why do you make it due until, why I have to work on Monday? Why? No, you don't understand. This is an extension to Monday, the 24th. You got it? So you're getting a whole 16 hours later. Normally I would say all homework is due on the 23rd. You guys got it? Sunday, the 11:59. But because I've run into enough times where there's technical issues and I'm tired of dealing that with, that late at night, I'm extending it till Monday, the following day, to the 24th, 4 p.m. If you work on a Monday, then you just have to assume that you have to submit it by the 23rd, all right? And get it done and submitted so that there's no issues as far as timing is concerned. And I do it at 4 p.m. because I don't want to be on Monday night at 11:50 getting emails at 11:55 telling me there's problems with a website or whatever it is, okay? I'd rather kind of look at that and see what's going on at 3:55 or at 3:45, and I can go in and verify some things that's going on, right? I'm not going to be up till midnight on Monday night. So Your homework or your discussions are due on the 23rd, the Sunday evening. You get an extension from Sunday evening to the following Monday at 4 p.m. You guys got that? Are there any questions about that? From then on, it's pretty consistent. Every week, discussions due during the week are due at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday evening. And then your homework is due on the following Monday at 4 p.m. You guys got it?
Got it.
All right, and it just goes on. Now, every week you'll see what the homework requirements are. So the first week you're supposed to submit 2 worksheets to get a grasp and keep it in balance, and I'll show you where those are at in just a bit. And then you have a quiz that's got to be done by the 24th, all right? The following week, starting on the 24th and ends on the 30th, which means your homework is actually due on the 31st. You're going to do your online discussions. You're going to read chapter 2. And now this week, you actually have some files that need to be submitted in ELab, which is where all of your files are going to be submitted and graded. And then you have your quiz, which will also be graded in ELab. So ELab, think of it as like my math lab or my accounting lab if you've taken accounting 1 or 2. And so this is just a website based that actually grades your assignments. So that's what you have to do and get it done, and you're going to be submitting. And like I mentioned to you, you're going to get feedback immediately on your scores. And then you have to determine, well, when I say immediately, it takes maybe about 10 or 15 minutes. And then you have to decide whether you want to continue or not, or resubmit. You have unlimited attempt. Well, technically you have 20 attempts because that's as high as I can go on the grading system. But for the most part, that's unlimited because most people don't try more than 4 or 5 times. The only thing I want to give you a heads up on is on the 20th, on this week, which is week what? Week 6. That's where exam number 1 is due. And then exam number 1, you're going to have to also complete. This is like a comprehensive element. Oh, no. You do the exam number 1, you're good. Now the following week is when your comprehensive element hits. And you can see there's a heads up on week 7, chapter 6. There's quite a few items that need to be submitted. Okay. This is bringing it all together. This is kind of a review of everything from chapter 1 to 6. So just a heads up, there are certain weeks where you see a whole bunch of assignments that are due that you need to get started. Now, my suggestion to you is that you get started early in the week, get started immediately during like on the Monday and start working on your assignments. Get as far as you can. Now, I'm going to schedule for you. I can't do Monday mornings. I did Monday mornings last semester and that worked out well. I'm going to go ahead and put together office hours specifically for my online classes, which means you guys, because nobody else from the other online classes really care. But I'm going to have office hours on Friday mornings from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay, I'll post that online. I'll let you know. So if on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're struggling Wednesday, Thursday, and you just can't get to a point where it makes some sense to you, then I will be online in Zoom. I will provide the links just like I did for this meeting, and available for you to come online and see if we can figure out what the problem is. Okay. Any questions about the calendar? Somebody had a question about the exams or something. Did I address your question? I don't remember who. Was it you, Maria?
Yes. I think that was my question there. Like, every when do we take the quiz? Like, but I think on week 6, we take the test for chapter 1 to 5, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because for my last semester, I didn't know that we take after so many tests, and I missed a few of them. So
Okay.
yeah, it's just that, and then yeah, it's a lot. I feel like it's a lot. Where it says complete or apply your skills for chapter 6, submit 6-4, 6-2. Are those like questions, quiz? What is that? I mean, just to know more.
They're reports. They're reports. You're going to print, report, and submit it. You're going to work in QuickBooks. And while you're working in QuickBooks, it's going to ask you to generate a report. And you're going to generate the report, and then you're going to submit that report to and hopefully it's correct.
That's the other thing I'm gonna need help with. I don't know how to submit report. This is like the second semester I'm doing online classes, and I'm not sure how to submit homework like that.
Okay, well, I'll show you tonight, and then, certainly I'll be available online if you need some help during the week, okay?
Okay, well,
I had a
All right.
question.
Yes,
Are we able to work ahead
yes,
on these?
yes.
Okay.
I have the due dates on the front end, but when you go into ELab, you will be able to submit your assignments. Now, I will give you the heads up on this, though. I don't answer questions about chapter 8 when we're in chapter 4. So if you're struggling with something, I'm going to say, well, you have to wait till we get there. All right. But you can work ahead.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yes, go ahead.
The download that one of the little cheat video things, they had me do a download onto my desktop.
Yes.
Are the downloads listed like where you have submit 4-1, 4-2? Is there a way to identify in those downloads which ones those are?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, so that takes care of the two most important documents that you have to have. We talked about participation. We talked about me, enough of me. Online purchase, okay, so the purchase of materials. This is probably the toughest part of the class, actually. All right. So what you're going to need to do is be able to purchase the materials. How many of you already done this? Anybody? Raise your hand. Okay.
I have the book.
I have the book and I have the code thing.
Okay, very good.
Code? Sorry, the code? Is that something separate than the book?
It's in the book. You scratch it in the book.
Oh, it comes in the book. Okay.
How much was the purchase of the book? How much was it?
So this is the book and here's the code. You scratch the code.
Okay. Heather, you had a question, Heather?
No, not yet.
Well, your hand is up.
You said raise your hand if you've already done this step.
Okay. Well, you're getting technical on me, huh?
We were flying past that
This
already.
is like I'm talking to my wife. I knew
It was just easier to raise my hand on that.
Yeah, I knew it
I
was-
don't know how to put the emoji hand.
Okay.
How much was the purchase for the book and the code, Maria? Do you know?
You know what? I actually bought it last semester because I was going to take this class, but it ended up being a little bit too much for me. So I ended up dropping the class. I want to say it was like 200 something. But the thing is, the code is in the book.
Oh,
So you
okay.
buy the book only and it's within the book.
I think it's cheaper on the Labyrinth than if you go through the COS bookstore. I
they
thought it
give you-
was at least.
That is true, but you won't get that.
You got a voucher for 250.
Yeah, that 250 voucher. So if you get that 250 voucher, it's going to be cheaper to the school.
Yeah, it is.
So, but you're right. I mean, if you don't get that voucher, it's going to be cheaper to do it through Labyrinth. All right, let's see. Now we're going to go back to the modules and I'll show you, well, first of all, the setup here modules will give you all the listing of everything that's going on. We'll start first and we'll just follow along the way I've set it up in the actual modules itself. We'll first start with the ELab homepage. Now, once you get ELab set up, then this is where you can click on to go immediately to do your homework. You just click on ELab and you're good to go. Now, but the first time you do that, you're going to have to create an ELab student account. So let's take a look and see. I saw that there were at least 4 students that have already done this. That was a couple of days ago. So maybe there's been more since then. But here's a video that I'm going to go ahead and play for you guys. I'll move you off to the side here.
To get started creating a student account, go to the ELab homepage and click on Learner under Register as New User. Begin filling out the form with your information. When you get to the zip code field, type in your zip code, then click anywhere out of the box. It will then automatically fill in your country, city, and state. Click the Create Account button at the bottom of the page to finish the registration process. Congratulations! Your ELab student account is now created. To verify this, you will see your name at the top of the page.
Right there is where, oh, let me put that back here.
Is now created. To verify this, you will see your name at the top of the page.
Ooh, isn't that cool? Okay, so that takes care of setting up your ELab account. Any questions on that? Now, ELab is where you're going to be submitting all your homework assignments, okay? Except for the first week. Again, just to repeat, the first week you don't have to use ELab. Well, no, I take that back. You don't submit your homework assignments, but you do not need to have ELab set up to do the quiz, okay? So I'll give you an example of, I think I have a student view. I'll see, I'm going to go right into ELab. Once you're into ELab, I think I can get to the course and go to a student view. So if I do the assignment, you as a student, there you go. Okay, so here's what you're going to have, but you're not going to have all of these different ones set up. You're just going to have the one, which is this one at the very top, spring 2021. And then you'll see assignments. And you should be able to see all the assignments because you see the dates that they're available. That means you can work on them in advance. Crystal, was it you that asked me if you can work in advance, or somebody did? I don't know who it was, but they're all available to you. They were available January 1st, so all the assignments are available. But on the second column, you'll see the due date. And so the first assignments that are due are Apply Your Skills 2-4. Is that all it's due? Yeah, I guess so. Apply Your Skills 2-4. And then the due date is at 1/31, okay? So, and then when you're ready to submit your assignment, you'll click on this that says Submit Your Assignment, okay? Now, the quizzes, you'll just click on Tests here. So, for example, quiz for chapter 1. This one you'll have to have set up immediately. Start the test and be ready to take the test as well. Again, somebody asked, can I take these in advance? And the answer is yes, because they're all available to you now, right? The due dates are listed, but you can take it in advance. And then here's the Unit 1 test, and everything is available to you immediately. Let's see if I minimize this. Does this work? Yeah, makes you smaller.
And then, sorry, how many times on the quiz do we get?
Just one.
Just one, okay.
It's all open book though, so that's all you should need, right? And there's no timing on it, so that's all you should need. One shot and you'll be good to go. 2-4 looks like it's or 2-4, that's the only one assignment for chapter 2, so that should be relatively easy. That's kind of a slow kind of get up and start. Then you have your 3 has 1, 2, 3, 4 submissions, and 4 has 3 submissions. 5 gets a little bit more, and then it goes on from there. Okay.
Those are homework, correct?
These are the homework assignments, yes.
So you just click on one of those, you do the homework, and then submit.
No. You submit them here. You're not going to do any homework here at all. You submit them here. You're going to do your homework in QuickBooks. All right. And I'll show you how that works right now. But this is where you submit your files. All right. All right. So let's go back to the home page here. So any questions about ELab?
I do have a question.
Yes.
So you showed us how to go to that link right there on Canvas.
Yeah.
Now my question would be the steps that the book has, is that a second thing we need to do? Should this be first, the book, and then the Canvas link to register, or what goes first, or are they the same thing?
Well, you're going to use the book to do your homework, and then you're going to export your printouts and then submit them into ELab. That makes sense?
Okay.
You still have to print them, or you just download them into the file? Because last class I took with you, I would save them on the file and then upload that file in that.
It's exactly the same as last time.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, let me rephrase my question. Inside the book cover, it says get ready for class, get your ebook and ELab. It has an activation ID. So is that a whole nother process as opposed to the one that was just shown right now?
Yeah, well, when you go ahead and set up your ELab account, you will likely have to enter that code, okay?
Oh, okay. So probably step one would be to do the steps in the book to activate something there. It says lab learning.
You need to do the ELab. You need to sign up your ELab, and that code course that he has on there, you need to put it on there, and it's going to redirect you to another thing. It's like a 2-part process.
Let me go ahead and let me play this next video to see if that helps, okay?
Okay.
Next video is actually after you've set up your account for the ELab. Now you're gonna follow this process here.
Okay.
Now that your account is created and you're logged in, you'll see a Getting Started is Easy message, which will give you more information about ELab. If you no longer want this message to appear every time you log in, check the Do Not Show Again checkbox and click OK. If you're adding a course for the first time, it will say, "You are not currently enrolled in any courses. Please click here to add a course." Click on the Click Here link to begin adding a course. Enter the course code, which is given to you by your instructor. You will not find the course code in your textbook, nor will it be in your class schedule.
Okay, so you have to enter a course code here, right?
Right.
Well, where the heck is that course code? Your instructor's supposed to provide it for you, right? Oh my goodness.
Is it on top?
Course, adding my ELab course code. Oh my goodness. There it is. You see it?
Yes.
There it is. So when she's talking about a course code, what she's talking about right now, that's what you use to get access to the specific ELab course, okay?
Okay.
Schedule. It can only be given to you by your instructor. After entering the course code, click on Submit. Your instructor's course information now appears. Here, you have 2 options. Select Input License Key now if you already have an ELab license key or redemption code. Or if you're waiting to receive your textbook with ELab or don't have a key as yet and need to purchase one, select the 14 days trial.
Okay, so I believe this is what you have on the inside of your textbook.
Yes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that's where that's where I'm wondering then if we need to do the book steps first so we can then do this. I think so.
Oh, you got it now?
Right. I think so, yeah. Yeah, because
Okay.
there's a code we have to get from the book.
Yep.
Thank you.
The trial is up, your course access will expire, and you will no longer get access to the course. Any previous work you submitted during the trial access will not be deleted. I don't have a key or redemption code, So I will select the 14-day full access and click submit to finish. My courses are added to my courses/evaluations. Every time I log in, the course will be listed here for me to access. If you obtain a license key or redemption code before the trial expires, you can input it at any time. Click the license key link and type the license key or redemption code and submit it. You will then get full access to the course. If you selected the 14-day trial access, once this access expires, you will see a message in red which says, your 14-day trial access has expired. Click here to enter a license key. If you don't have a license key, in my case, I have a license key, so I will click here and input it. I click submit, and as you can see, that expired message is no longer there. And now I have full access to the course. If you still do not have a key, then you can click on the link to purchase. I can now continue from where I left off. Any assignments and tests I previously submitted were not deleted after the trial expired.
Okay. Everybody clear on ELab?
Yes. Oh my.
Any questions at all? All right,
We'll
so
be
I'm sorry.
excuse me. We'll be able to open ELab through Canvas.
Well, yeah, you'll click on this ELab homepage every single time.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, the next link is listed here. Download your QuickBooks Desktop 2021 install file. Okay, this is the file that you're going to need to download and install QuickBooks onto your desktop machine or your laptop. Okay, so to do that, this is probably a tricky part. This is a little more tricky even than before. You're going to have to click on this. And let's go to the installation process or the installation guide here. Make sure you understand that you are using the desktop installation. It says if you're enrolled in QuickBooks Online, you're not enrolled in QuickBooks Online, you're enrolled in a desktop course, all right? Your quick links is install your trial, activate your trial, toggle your trial, but let's go ahead and go down to install your QuickBooks trial desktop software. All right, the first thing it tells you to do is navigate to this link. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And you're going to go through a registration process. Now, what this registration process is going to do is going to verify that you are a student, because it will not give you this QuickBooks software unless it knows you are a student in a specific school. So you're going to enter your name. You're going to enter your email address. You're going to confirm it. You'll put your birth date, the school, the accounting is the, well, I don't know what your concentration is, but whatever it is, choose that. And then the version you're going to click on and list is 2021. Okay? Make sure you choose that. Then you're going to click on verify and continue. Now let's go back to the instructions. You're going to fill out the form in its entirety. So this is exactly what we just looked at. Follow the steps from your situation. And then you should get verified. If you were instantly verified, go to 7. Let's go ahead and assume you were verified. And what it does is it looks at your email address and there's some database somewhere that will confirm that you're in fact enrolled at COS, and it's going to confirm that. And once it does, 95% of the time, there's no issues. You go down to number 7. All right, now you provided them an email address when you submitted all of your information. You will get an email, and in that email, you will receive a please click here to download a exe file. All right. So you'll get that. You'll click on this email that you get. In the email, you'll receive something like this, and you'll click on it. Right. Once you've done that, you'll download it. and then you will essentially click on it and start the installation. All right, there is a video here that you can click on that will show you how to install it, but it's pretty simple. You just click on it, and just like you install other software on your computer, you should be up and running. Now close all open programs, including antivirus programs, then click the exe file for the button for the bottom of the browser window. Click yes to allow QuickBooks to change to your computer, to make changes to your computer. Click next, and this is just a process you go through. Have this available to, so that you can review when you're installing it. Move through the screens as accepting the licensing, and then the process can change at any time, blah, blah, blah. Now you're going to enter in QuickBooks, once you're installing it, it's going to ask you for a license number, okay? A license and product code. You are going to be provided that with that same email that you're using to actually download the software. So they're going to give you a license number and a product number. You will enter that information into QuickBooks, okay, the installation process. All right. From then on, ensure the express recommended option is selected, click next, and then you install. And when it's complete, you will click open QuickBooks. And if necessary, click OK in the How QuickBooks Desktop uses your internet connection or other window. And at that point in time, you are good to go. Now, shortly thereafter, you're going to get a request to activate your trial. And essentially, you'll come up, it'll say, hey, you need to activate, and just click on the activation or go ahead and activate it. You may go through another process where it's asking you a whole bunch of questions about your company, where you're from. And what I would suggest is don't worry about it. You're not really working from any specific company. Just put an ad. You could put your house. It doesn't really matter. They're just gathering data for whatever reason, I'm not quite sure why, but they ask about your company, but use COS if you like. Use the COS address and enter that information to activate your QuickBooks. Now, if you don't activate immediately, you'll be okay, but at some point in time, it's going to tell you you have to activate your software for you to continue. When that happens, just go through this process. It asks for a lot of questions to be filled out, and just go and fill out addresses and phone numbers. Okay. All right, that's it. Toggle to Pro QuickBooks. You don't have to worry about that because we're using 2021. And then there's some common questions at the bottom. All right. So there's no way that I could sit there with you right now and install your software. So this is something that you're going to have to get done on your own. You're going to have to download the software, get it installed. Now, if you're struggling with it, again, I'm going to be available online on Fridays, starting this Friday, and I'll post it between 8 and 10 in the morning. I'll be available on Zoom, and I'll allow you to share your screens so that I can kind of see what's going on and help you through getting the installation done. If you're not able to do it on your own by then, I will also be available the following Friday, but you really need to have all this kind of set up in place so that you can start working on your homework probably Monday or Tuesday. If you're struggling, then the next time I'll be available is next Monday or next Friday, right? Although I can meet online with you individually, but I'm going to have to ask you to do everything you can beforehand and maybe even try to troubleshoot before. And if it just seems like we're getting nowhere, then we'll go ahead and meet online and try to solve the problem. Okay. Think of this as just installing any other software like Word or Excel or any other software you're installing. There's a licensing requirement. You have to enter those license numbers, the product keys, and you're good to go. But everything will be done through your email. Are there any questions about installing the QuickBooks Desktop? The key here is to make sure that you're using the desktop version and that you're using 2021. That's the two keys. If you mess up on either one of those, then it's going to send you to a different place. Okay.
Do you recommend use our school ID, or does email ID, or does any email matter?
I strongly recommend you use your school ID because Anytime I've had issues with trying to resolve questions, any school items that you're doing, and not even in my class, but all classes, any school items you're doing, use the school email address. That's just what you should do. It's awkward when I get email address, or when I post announcements and it goes to school email addresses, and I didn't get that. Well, you need to be comfortable and frequently using your school email, because everything is linked to that. So I would strongly recommend that you use your COS email address.
Okay.
Quick question, what's the on the COS email after your name or whatever, it's at giants.cos.edu, is it?
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Yes.
I think for students, that's what it is.
Giants.cos.edu.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, so let's assume you've got ELab all set up. You've got ready to go to submit your assignments. Now you've downloaded the software, and now you need to go to install. We've done the install. Now we're going to get the exercise files. Now, just because you have the software doesn't mean you're ready to go. You have to get the exercise files. So you're going to click on, let me back up, just to make sure we know what we're talking about. You have to click on where it says download the QuickBooks Desktop Comprehensive Exercise Files. You guys see that? You have to do that. Now
Yes.
you're going to use these files because a lot of the stuff that you're working on is going to be preset already. This is like, if you think of, if you're using Word, you're having like a Word document that's already set up. Well, we're using QuickBooks, and there are QuickBooks files that are already set up for you, so you don't have to do everything like to set up a brand new company, all right? And we're going to scroll down until we get to QuickBooks 2021. Let's see, there it is, right here. See QuickBooks 2021? That's what we're looking for right here. You guys see that? It has download company files and download portable files. My recommendation is let's just go ahead and download the company files. It's a little bit more extensive in terms of this space, but when you click on it, you'll see that at the bottom, you'll get this download, and it takes a while. It's a zip file, and it's taking a while. It's downloading. And what you're downloading is all the files that you need to complete your assignments, both chapter 1 and all the QuickBooks assignments that you're going to have after chapter 1. I think I got an email just a couple of days that say I can't find, or I don't know where the worksheets are you need for the first assignments. And the worksheets you need are included in this zip folder. Okay. Now, when you download it, I don't know how it's done. You got to kind of know your machine and how it works. All right. But in most cases, the download goes to a folder called downloads. Okay. Now, you don't really even need to know that. You could actually just click on this arrow list and then press on open, and then you should be able to see all the files, all the folders and files that have been downloaded. Okay. You guys see that?
Yes.
Chapter 1, for chapter 1, we're going to click on it, and you'll see the actual worksheets that I'm referring to that you're required. There's the Explore QuickBooks worksheet. All right. And then I think the other one is Keep It in Balance. Is that what you have to do?
Yes.
Okay. So those are the 2 documents you need to complete your chapter 1 assignment. You guys got it?
Yes.
There are the files, the QuickBooks files, but we don't even mess with QuickBooks in the first chapter. But so a lot of this you won't even really need. Now, you may be wondering, well, okay, this is a zip file. Can I work off a zip file? And the answer is probably not. So what you're going to have to do is unzip this file. Okay, so we've got all of this QuickBooks stuff in a folder somewhere on your computer. I don't know where it's at. It could be anywhere. It's likely under downloads, but it could be anywhere. But when it's all said and done, if you get to this point, then you have to extract all. Everything that's in here has to be extracted. Are you guys following?
Yes.
When you extract it, you're essentially, this is kind of a condensed version of everything. When you extract it, you're going to click extract, and then you're going to decide where you want to put your original files. Where do you want them set? Now, For some people that are going to be using multiple machines, I'm going to suggest you put this on a flash drive. So you put your flash drive in and you extract all these files to the flash drive. That's one option. The second option is to, if you're going to be working continuously on your machine and you just want to keep working on it the whole time, then I would suggest that you actually browse to your desktop to make it real easy for you. Go to your desktop and extract everything. You might even create a folder, like maybe, let's say I create a folder called, oh, I already did. See this folder called QuickBooks? Let me go ahead and create another one. That way we get, because I know that's what I did last year. That's why I'm there. Let's say I call it QuickBooks 1, okay? So now I'm just doing it 1, so it distinguishes between that and what I've already created. So QuickBooks 1, I'm gonna go ahead and click on this and select that folder. So I've selected it. Now on this bottom here, it's showing that that's the file I'm going to be extracting to, the folder I'm going to be extracting to, QuickBooks 1, and then I'm going to select the folder, and then I'm going to extract. Now I'm going to post this video so that if you get confused, you can go back and review this video again, all right? And go step by step and just kind of follow along with what I'm doing. So don't panic if it seems like you're getting confused. You'll be able to go back and review the video as well. So now all of those files that I have downloaded as a zip file are now extracting into a folder called QuickBooks 1 under the desktop. So where is it? So now anytime I want to get to it, I can go to my desktop, right to my desktop, and then see a folder called QuickBooks 1. Let's see if I can find it now. Where's it at?
Right there. Oh, no, it's right here, the bottom.
Oh, there it is. Thank you. QuickBooks 1. I'll click on that, and you see there are all the folders I need. These are not in a zip file anymore. These have been extracted. These are usable files. Okay. Now I can work and use these files. So whenever you're going to be working in QuickBooks and you're going to try to locate these files, you know that they're on your desktop. Okay. Are you guys following?
Yeah.
All right. So now for the first assignment for chapter 1, you would then go into chapter 1, and you know you're going to be using this Explore Your Sheet worksheet, and you're going to be keep it in balance. Those are the two that you're going to be wanting to use. I think the Explore Your Worksheet, you just use it in Word, and then this one you may have to print out and just write on top of it or something. But the question is what do I do? Well, how do I know what to do? Well, before I show you that, are there any questions so far about downloading the exercise files, downloading the zip files, extracting the zip files into a folder that you can access and that you know where it's at, and then getting to those files? Are there any questions at all?
I do have a
Can I ask
question.
a question?
Okay,
How do we find the video that you're doing right now? Where is it going to be posted at?
it's going to be posted in Canvas, and I'll send an announcement that'll tell you that it's there.
Okay, just to go over it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll send in announcements, and then it'll have the link to the video. The video will be uploaded to YouTube, and we're still recording, right?
Yeah, I see a little thing that
I
says
think so.
recording.
Okay, if it says it's recording, I don't see it, but if it does, then we're good. If not, I can upload. Oh yeah, there it is. If not, I can upload it again. I do this. I did the same video for the fall, so it's exactly the same process. So if for some reason this fails, I have a video that I can upload for you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
You had stated that the files could be downloaded onto the desktop or onto a flash drive. Are you able to install the QuickBooks Desktop onto the flash drive as well? Or is it just these files?
The actual software has to go onto your computer. It's not on the flash drive.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. In fact, you don't really even dictate that. You download it. It's going to the startup file is going to download to your downloads folder, and then it's the executable file. Once you click on that executable file, it's going to run an installation process, and by itself, it's going to decide where to install. Well, especially if you choose Express, which is what is recommended, Express setup, then it's just going to choose where to put it on your computer. All right. You won't even have a choice.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Oh, I'm having so much fun. Oh my goodness. Okay. Where am I? Let's go back to. Okay, I downloaded the files here, so let's go ahead and go back to Canvas. Now we've done the ELab. Well, this is the link to get to your ELab from after you've set it up. We've set up the account. After we set up the account, we created the course in ELab. And then we've downloaded the software, we've installed the software, and now we've downloaded the exercise files and now the ebook. Now the question is how do you get to your ebook? Well, you get to your ebook through ELab, okay? And the way that works is once you've got the course set up, you'll go into ELab and over to the right side. Now this is the ebook that you have. Now, most of you are actually getting a physical book, so you have the book, you don't have any issues. But if you're going to use the ebook, you'll off to the right side of your access, you will have ebook option and you'll click on it. And now you're ready to go and get started on your homework. All of your homework is in the book itself, okay? So if I go back to, well, first of all, once I get my book, I'm going to start on chapter 1 and guess what? Oh my goodness, you get to read. Isn't that wonderful? Calm down. I'm getting excited. That's awesome, huh? Look, there's words even. It's not just pictures. There's actual words. So you get to read and you'll read through your textbook, every single word, your learning objectives, getting to know QuickBooks. You'll read through this. Oh my God, I'm excited already. Accounting basics. You'll see more to read. This is so exciting. You know, if you start telling me that this is boring, you decided to take QuickBooks. It wasn't me. That was your decision, all right? So don't even start complaining to me about how boring this stuff is. Anyway, your homework assignment. What is it? The homework assignment for chapter 1 is AYS 1-2. Let's go to AYS. AYS, apply your, AYS, apply your skills. You guys see that? We'll click on it. 1-1 is there, and then 1-2. Oh my goodness, there it is. Get a grasp on accounting concepts. Open and complete CH 102. This is the file, the worksheet, and open and complete AYS, keep it in balance. See, these are the 2 worksheets I just showed you that we downloaded earlier, right? You guys remember?
Yes.
Your heads, pretend if you have to, all right? That's where your files and once you've done this for your first homework, this is the only homework you're going to be doing where you're not even working in QuickBooks. You're just going to complete this. Once it's complete, you're going to go back to your assignments, and in assignments or the modules, either way, you can submit it. You can even every week I have the modules, but here it says your apply your skills 1-2. You're going to click on here and it gives you instructions. Submit AYS 1-2, get a grasp on accounting principles worksheet, and keep it in balance worksheet to Canvas. So I think you actually have an upload file, or I don't because I'm the instructor, but you're going to be able to upload it here. Submit, okay? So you can also go to modules, and this is what I would recommend for you guys is to actually go to each week and see every week. This is the first week. I've got everything that we just went over to. This is what we've got. And then here you would click on here, and then AYS, you should have an upload link here. And once you have that, you can click on it and submit what you've been asked to do. The textbook will tell you what you need to do. Let me get to the textbook. Is it here? No, that's not it. Here we go. I'm going to push this off as a second screen. Let's go to the next page. Yep, that's it. So open and complete those 2 worksheets and then submit them. Okay, very good. Then that'll take care of chapter 1. Then if you look at your homework assignments or your calendar, you still have a quiz to take. And the way you take your quizzes is through ELab. You'll go back up here where it says ELab. You'll log into the ELab account that you've already set up. The course that's already been set up on your system, you'll click on the ELab. And once you're in ELab, you'll go to tests. And then you'll see all the tests and it'll say here, and here you'll have the option of, well, on my, this is not student view. I'll click on student view here. So let me start again. You'll click here. This is QuickBooks 2021 Spring 2022. You'll click tests and then start test. Okay, so those are the 2 things you need to do for chapter 1. The first assignments that are due 2 weeks from now. Now, in 3 weeks from now, your first homework assignments, let's go to chapter 2. You're supposed to, let's go to the assignments. You're supposed to submit Apply Your Skills 2-4. Well, we're going to go to our textbook. I have my textbooks. Oh, here it is, yeah. Okay, I'm going to go to chapter 2. I'm going to read all of chapter 2. By the way, there's a whole lot of other problems that you have to do, and you do have to do the other problems. Even though you're not submitting all of them, you have to do them because they rely upon one another. So in other words, even though you're submitting 2-4, you have to do 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, and 2- all those 3 before in order to make sure you have up-to-date information for 2-4. All right. So you have to do all of the Apply Your Skills. So let's go to 2-4. Here's 2-4 at the, I'm struggling with this. I usually have dual screens, I told you, but anyway. 2-4. Okay, so 2-4. In this exercise, you will enter the opening balances of the Wet Roses check and savings. You're going to open the register. Well, even before you get to 2-4, you're going to actually, if you start on 2-1, oh, in this first company, you're actually creating a new company file. So you're going to start on 2-1. In this exercise, you'll create a QuickBooks file for Dr. Sadie James. So in QuickBooks, you will follow the process of setting up a new company for Dr. James, and they'll give you the information. Now, you're saying, well, how do I know how to do that? Well, the way you're going to know how to do it is, oh my goodness, you're going to read your textbooks. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so right here, you'll start reading on creating a company. This is chapter 1. And then you're going to go ahead and scroll through each page. First, you're going to read about the planning, and then you're going to actually do the QuickBooks preferencing. There'll be some step-by-step guides that you go. You're going to be in QuickBooks, following along, creating stuff. You're going to love it to death. You're going to be so happy you took the course. This will be the best course you ever have taken in your entire life. Yes. In fact, you're going to be so appreciative. You're going to get me a really nice Christmas gift next year. By the way, my birthday is March 11th. Okay, just okay.
I know.
Yeah. Develop, as you're going, there's what we call develop your skills. You should do every single one of them. Now, there's no grade associated with this. This is just teaching you what you need to know. Let's go to the first one. Let's go to DYS 2-1. Let's go see what that's about. Let's see if I can find it. Develop your skills. Here it is. Oh, that's already 3. So let's go back to the very first page. DYS 2-1. Okay. Start QuickBooks 2021. Click cancel in the QuickBooks Desktop login window if necessary. Choose File, New Company, click Detailed Start, and then complete. You're going to have a screen that's going to have this kind of information set up, and you're going to enter. So you're going to get all the practice you need with the DYS skills, going through the book, reading the book, seeing what you have to do. Okay. You get all the practice. Once you've gone through all of this and have practiced setting up, that's when you then turn around and go to apply your skills. Well, you could go to reinforce your skills as well, which is another way of making sure you understand things and practice there. That's more practice. But apply your skills is where your homework is. And in this case, you're going to start with apply your skills 2-1, continue on all the way to 2-4. 2-4, it's going to ask you at the end, click the Excel, okay, create an account list report to ensure you entered the opening balances correctly. The system will show you how to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it for you right now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open up. I don't know what report I'm going to put up. Let's see. Do I have 2018. I'm pretty sure I have 2021 on here. 2019. Okay, it's starting right now. You're often going to get this QuickBooks update service. I'm always going to say you're better off choosing install later, but either way won't make a difference. It'll just update the software that you're using. But I'm going to go ahead and choose install later and not worry about updates until I actually need them. Okay, now the software will tell you every time, but your password for every file is, I think it's capital P, password 1. So when you're actually not in chapter 2, you're creating a QuickBooks file, so you won't have to worry about that. But after chapter 2, every time you go into open up a file, you're going to have to enter a password. And the password for every single one of those files is password 1, PASSWRD 1, and the P is capitalized. Okay. All right. Now I'm just going to kind of show you an example of what you're going to be doing after chapter 1, and what'll happen in chapter 2 and out. One thing I will give you the heads up on is that it does take a while for QuickBooks to get started, and it will kind of feel a little slow, but that's not unusual. That's actually quite common. It does take a while to make happen. I'm going to go ahead and lower, because you can't see, I don't know if you can, I certainly can't see all the options with that little thing blocking us here from, but in most cases, you're going to be asked to generate a report. You'll click on reports. And as an example, let's say it's a company, a profit loss standard. That's one thing we'll deal with a lot later, but it could be any report that it's asking you to generate, and it will certainly show you where you need to go to generate these reports. But here's an example. You'll go ahead and create the report here. I don't know what the date parameters are supposed to be here, but I'll just try this. Nope. Okay, so here's an income statement, a profit and loss statement, and this is the way it will look on your screen once you've done it. This is the report as an example, it will ask you to submit this report. The way you will create this report is you will export it to Excel. To do that, you will click on Excel, create a new worksheet, create a new workbook, and export. Now, when you're creating this file, oh, by the way, you do have to have Excel on your computers as well. If you don't have Excel, there's a way to get it. I believe there's a way to get it without a student. I don't even think it's a discount. I think it's actually free. but you do have to have Excel on your computers. Okay, so when I created it,
How do we get that for free? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but.
I'll touch base with you right now.
Okay.
So here is now the Excel file that I just created. Okay. And then what I want to do is I want to save this file, save as, and I want to save it at the location where I know I need it so that I could then upload it. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my desktop folder where I created all my QuickBooks stuff. Remember, I created QuickBooks 2. I'm sorry, QuickBooks 1. And then I'm in let's pretend I'm in chapter 1, and this is a chapter 1 assignment. And then I'm going to name it, and it will tell you what to name that file. So let's say income statement, profit loss. And it'll be Excel workbook. And I will say save. And you're going to get it this way. Now, whatever it is, this exactly as you saved it, this is what you're going to submit. Are you following me? Everybody following me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'll show you the example of what you're going to do from chapter 2 and on. Not to worry about chapter 1, but chapter 2 and on. You're going to go to ELab. Where is my ELab now? Let's go back to, where am I? Oh, here, ELab. Okay. So am I in my student view? You as a student. Okay, so now I'm going to go to assignments. And let's pretend I'm submitting for Apply Your Skills 2-1, the account list report. I will click on here. It'll say choose file. I will select choose file. I will go to wherever I saved that Excel file, which is on my desktop, under QuickBooks 1, chapter 1, and I just created this profit loss. I'm going to select it. I'm going to click open, and now that file is there, and I will submit it. Okay. Now, within a matter of about 5 to 15 minutes, you're going to get feedback. And the feedback will look, do I have some kind of feedback I can show you? I think I can show you the template. Okay, so I can't really show you the template right now because you have to submit it. But once you submit it, you're going to see a template that'll show you various elements of steps of what seems to be right and what seems to be wrong. It's going to be checking areas on your spreadsheet to see that certain things are in certain places. And if anything is missing, if even a spelling error has occurred or a number is incorrect or a date entry is made incorrectly, you could get flagged and it'll give you 0 points. Okay, so what you have to do is after you submit it, you'll take a look at that template, see if you can figure out exactly what the problem is. If you can, make the adjustments, re-export your file to an Excel file, resubmit it, and then see what the grade is and keep doing the submissions until you get the grade that you're happy with, all right? That's pretty much it. That's how you submit your homework. And then you do quizzes. I showed you how to do your quizzes. That's going to be the same for the exam. I think, let me go back to Canvas and see, is there anything else? I've went through all of these items. There's some ELab training videos. how to submit your assignment. I actually showed you how to do that, but taking a test, working with assignments, I would encourage you to actually look, oh, here's view your test results. Oh, that's test results. I would encourage you to go through all of these videos. They should be very helpful to you in understanding exactly what your expectations should be. Working with assignments, it'll show you how to do that. So it'll reinforce what I've already talked to you about. You'll have the video that I will upload, and hopefully you'll know, but I will also be available for you. The best way to get hold of me is through emails. I'm pretty good at responding to emails pretty quickly. Are there any questions about anything right now before I stop sharing my screen?
Can we go over the whole thing again?
Yeah, I will. I'm going to upload it. Watch it on YouTube.
Brain overload for me.
I took notes, but they're all over the place. I think I need a friend by now.
I know. I'm going to tell you this. I get the students initially when you're going through. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now, and that way I can actually see you. Okay. Students generally struggle with the install because there's a whole bunch of steps associated with. They got to get software set up. They got to make sure they got everything uploaded and ready to go. So it's kind of a pain to get started. Then initially, the feedback that you're getting, it gives you 0 points, and students get a little bit frustrated at first. But let me put it to you this way. Back in the day before we were using all this electronics, you would submit your submission, your paper, whatever it was, your printouts, and the instructor would grade it, and you got what you got. Okay, there was no resubmissions. There was no, oh, try this again. And although this is a little bit cumbersome initially, what you're going to find as you get further along, it's going to get easier and easier for you to submit your assignments, be able to respond to the assignments, the issues that come up. And then if you ever come to a point where it just doesn't make any sense, don't spin your wheels on something. If you spend about a half hour to an hour trying to figure something out, submit it 2 or 3 times and you just can't get it, send me an email. I will go in and look and see what's going on. I will compare it to the solutions and maybe give you some guidance as to what's going wrong, okay? I can look at what is the computer system is expecting. Now, I will tell you this, be diligent about spelling, because if you misspell something, you'll get knocked for it. It's just that simple. If it says, if you spell crystal with an E, Crystal Company as an example, it's supposed to be with an E and you put an A on there, you will get 0 points. You're like, are you kidding me? It was just it's mechanical in nature. It's looking for specific items, and if it doesn't get exactly what it's looking for, you will get dinged. Okay.
My God.
Make sure your dates are correct, because the easiest thing to screw up in QuickBooks are dates. And if you put a wrong date, it'll end up going in the wrong section, and all of a sudden it doesn't show up on a report, and it's confusing because you're saying, well, I know I entered it. Make sure your dates are correct. Okay. What you submit on the spreadsheet, do not manipulate it, because it's going specifically to columns and rows and looking for specific information. If it's not there, you're going to get a 0. And here's what's kind of sad initially that you'll get. If you forget to input one thing, then all of your rows and all of your columns are off for anything after that. So you're going to get zeros right down the board. All right. So you'll see at the very top what the problem is, because it'll be like sections all the way down. The first one you read, if it's 0, there's a good chance that if you fix that, you might be able to get all the other points for all the other sections. Okay. So fix the one thing at a time until you get all the points that you're looking for. Again, though, don't spin your wheels for hours trying to solve something. If you spent an hour trying to figure it out, you've submitted it 2, 3, or 4 times, then stop and send me an email and say, Andy, I just can't figure it out. Can you help me out on this? I'll go in, I'll submit to you or email to you what I think is the problem and what you can do to fix it. And you can go try to fix it, resubmit it, and hopefully you'll get the adjustment in your scores.
Thank you.
Okay. What else do we need to cover?
I just had a quick question.
Okay.
Okay, so we're reading and we're doing in QuickBooks.
Yes.
Exporting to ELab.
Exporting to Excel, and then that Excel file is submitted to
Goes
ELab.
into ELab.
Yes.
So the only part that lost me was when in Canvas, you said in the modules, we can submit the apply your skills.
Chapter 1 is the only time you're going to do that.
Okay,
Chapter
so
1 is-
nothing in Canvas other than discussions.
except for chapter 1. Chapter 1, you submit your assignment. Those are worksheets that we talked about.
Yeah.
Then you do your discussions, and then you have in ELab, you have an exam for chapter 1. So after that, everything is in QuickBooks, and everything is exported to Excel, and everything is submitted to ELab.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
The discussion questions, where are we gonna see that? Is that gonna be in Canvas or on ELab?
It's in Canvas.
Okay.
If you go to the modules, I need to share my screen again just to show you, right? Go to modules, scroll down each week, and each week you'll see discussion. This is week 2 discussion. Well, let's go to week 1. Week 1, oh my goodness. Oh yeah, there, introduction, there it is. Week 2 discussions. You see that? There it is. We'll click on it. And there's your DQs. You respond to that and then respond to 2 other students. Okay. What other wonderful questions do you have?
Can we download QuickBooks more than one time?
Can you?
I don't know. You tell me.
Why would we?
I think you can. Yes, I think you can. You can put them on multiple. You'll have to enter the same user the product license key and the product code.
Yeah, because I have a PC, but hopefully I'll get a laptop soon.
Yeah.
So I would prefer to have it in my laptop.
Yeah, what you're getting is a user license, which means it's restricted to one user. But one user can have multiple machines, so you can load them on as many machines as you like.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. But you just you can't access the same file with different computers. So you can't, the way they get you is you can have it on multiple machines, but the same file can't be accessed by more than one user. So you're kind of stuck unless you're going to do it between 2 machines, and what would be the point of that, right? So it only allows one user to access this files at one time.
One device at a time.
One device at a time, even though you have multiple devices set up.
It's probably not recommended to download to a phone, right? Oh,
No, it's not
that's
compatible.
right. You said desktop. You said desktop or
Compatible.
laptop. Never mind. It's
Can't
just
use-
lighter to carry around,
Yeah, no. This is an experience of training you how to work in an accounting office or an accounting department of a company, and companies don't use their phones to do their bookkeeping.
Okay.
Now, having said that, you'll see on TV that QuickBooks would advertise that you could do all this with your phone, and it's all BS. All right, that's not the way. They just advertise it because you can access your account through QuickBooks Online version, but we're not even learning online version, number 1. Number 2, it's still BS. They make it appear like you could just do everything from your phone and everything is going to work wonderfully. It just doesn't work that way.
Okay. So
They're
there's
just
no
trying to sell you. It's just sales gobbledygook, right?
Is it just one that's comprehensive?
The desktop is much more comprehensive.
Yeah.
The online versions, although they're easier to use in terms of the real basic stuff, well, first of all, imagine trying to run payroll system using a phone. It's not going to work. Okay, you can't run payroll, enter all the data that you need to run, especially if you've got to set up a payroll user. You have to have files in place to enter information from a W4. You've got to have it just doesn't work. You've got to have the tax code set up. You just wouldn't do that with a phone.
A company I work for, one of our big businesses that we work for, they've been trying to do the tablet to, instead of submitting actual data. I work for an ag farm company and I do their payroll, and one of the companies that we work for, they're trying to get the crew bosses to do the tablets instead of handwrite every day in every field. But they've noticed that some of the guys will just go and kind of where the tower's supposed to be, kind of check in,
Right.
and not actually work the field, and then check themselves out when the hour is done, and then just email us the stuff, and it's not working. It's a much more pain in the butt rather than just getting the paperwork and me actually inputting all that information.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in that context, there are ways, if you have a lot of people that are working together, to capture like remedial data that's going to be entered into the actual accounting system. Now, I'm sure, let me guess, are you using something like Famous for your farm
Yeah,
accounts?
we use Famous.
Okay, so I'm familiar with Famous, and I know how it works, and it's not unlike QuickBooks, although Famous is kind of good with grower accounting, and so it helps with the allocation of costs between packing houses, and then allows you to generate allocations to specific vendors and customers in terms of how much money that needs to be forwarded out. So there's added elements of farming or packing house type software, but in the end, the final payroll process is pretty similar, just like it is with QuickBooks. And so capturing the data can be done multiple ways, but you're not only capturing data, you're setting up in QuickBooks, you're setting up the individual, you're putting in information like addresses, phone numbers, social security numbers, you're uploading information from W-4s, you're setting up the tax tables. That's just, it just doesn't work that easy the way it kind of indicates on some of the commercials that I've seen. I'm like, I wish it was that simple. I mean, if all we had to do is run around with a cell phone and just, we'd be, and just plug in, a couple of buttons and we'd be all good. That's not the way it works. But thank you for sharing, because I'm glad you're reinforcing that it's a bit more extensive than just what you can just punch into a cell phone. What else?
I mean, I just have a small question off of that. I mean, if it's just a small business with not a big payroll, I mean, online is the way to go. It's kind of where we're all kind of.
Let me tell you where online actually is really helpful, really cool. When you want to be able to access the data from multiple devices, different locations, when you that's when it's really cool. It's very slick because it's real easy to access, like you're saying, to get some remedial information from a phone, from a tablet, from a computer at various locations, and you don't have to have this whole complete setup of systems and networks and all that. It's lower cost in terms of hardware that's required. So you're right, Gregory, in terms of a relatively simple type situation where you don't have extensive payroll and you just want to have access to data, you can actually integrate your bank accounts with the online versions that will allow information to be imported to your QuickBooks, even the online versions, which make it pretty slick. So there are certain circumstances where the benefits of an online version really exceed the cost and effort that it takes for the more comprehensive version as the desktop. There are situations. So thanks for bringing that up, Gregory. I'm sorry, because that is the case. But generally speaking, when we're introducing this course, we're introducing it in the context that you are going to be working in a company like a CPA firm or like within an organization and actually processing the payroll. And it's been my experience, and I've talked to other CPAs, that at this point in time, the desktop versions are a little bit more comprehensive, more elaborate, and they allow you to do things. Well, and I won't lie to you, some of it is just old school. You've got people that are trained on it, and you're not going to want to redo all your training on it, and they're used to, they know what it's all about. So that's what they're doing. But I keep looking at the online versions, hoping that they're getting a little bit more like the desktop versions. And so far I'm not there yet. I think I'm guessing maybe another 2 or 3 years, they're going to make it so that it does appear to be like the desktop. In fact, I do have a couple of clients that are actually using remote QuickBooks, which is really outside of their organization. They access remotely just like that AWS that the COS is trying to get you to use. You can actually access a remote desktop and run QuickBooks remotely, not on your PC, but it's remotely. It's web-based, but it's like you're running the desktop versions. So my guess is that at some point in time, maybe that is going to merge, that technology is going to merge with the online versions. But like I said, at this point in time, the desktop versions seem to be more robust. So, and in my office and all the offices that I know of, they're still using the desktop versions.
Okay.
I don't want to train you for something that's going to make you like not valuable at this point in time. You got to be ready to jump in right now. And then once you actually get the desktop versions down, and then if you start to move on to the online version, it's a bit of a quirk to try to figure it all out. But because you know what can be done and how it's done on a desktop version, it's not that difficult to figure out how it's going to be done on an online version as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions about anything we've talked about? Oh my goodness, we've been together for how long? 2 hours? This was supposed to be like 15 minutes, right?
Oh, we're special.
We should do this more often.
Yeah.
We are getting an A, right?
Once a week.
At least once a week.
You know what? That is a good question or a good point. I'll be honest with you. Last semester, I had accounting, and I did have a lot of questions. I mean, my professor was really good. I would email her and all, but I'm more of a visual person. This is not a bad idea to at least meet once a week, or maybe once every 2 weeks, just to go over things. But maybe some of us are a little bit slower in understanding, or maybe something online.
Here.
Yeah,
I'm
we're not able to.
online.
Yay.
I'm online Friday mornings between 8 and 10 just for you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm there.
Good.
Right.
I'm there.
And,
I'll
and,
bring
when,
the coffee.
and when you stop showing up, I'm going to be pissed off because I am there for you,
Uh-oh.
twiddling my thumbs, waiting for you to show up. And nobody's going to show up. Yeah, the first 2-3 weeks, everybody's, oh my goodness, it's all. The last 6 weeks are like, oh,
By that time, we're pros, though.
yeah, right. Okay. That's not your problem. That's me. I will be there no matter what. Okay, I will be there. But
Thank you.
But I have set up, most of the time, online courses are simply just online, but I do set aside specifically for all my online courses a certain time. This semester is going to be between 8 and 10 a.m. on Friday. Okay. Now I'm not going to do it this Friday. My office hours will start.
Okay, Mr. Hinojosa, just to confirm, all the assignments, quizzes, and tests are going to be available ahead, except for the discussion, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I got it. Thank you.
Jacqueline is an overachiever. She's going to get this all done in about 2 weeks and just sit there.
Yes, she is.
Oh, yeah, right.
Honestly, I want to be with her. I want to be with her.
Yeah.
Can we assign? Sorry.
Anybody who's asking that question, I want to team up with them immediately. It's like, what?
I was going to say, can we assign her the class tutor?
No.
Yes. I volunteer, Jackie.
Well, I just want to make sure, I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we did have a tutor last year for Accounting 210. Unfortunately, she would report to me, although every semester everybody says, oh, I wish we had a tutor, and then I alert them that we have a tutor and nobody goes and uses the tutor.
Oh.
I don't know if it's going to be, and I will let you know if we have one, but she normally sets up specific, and maybe that's the problem, is that, the times don't work, but but she's there. She was last semester there during certain times in the library at where the computers are, where they have QuickBooks, and she didn't have anybody come visit her. So just like me, in about 3 or 4 weeks, sitting on waiting for you, whistling and saying somebody's gonna say hi.
Is that only like an in-person kind of thing, or is that like we'd be able to Zoom meeting her?
For the tutoring, you mean?
Right.
I think it was just an in-person, because I don't know if she had the ability to set up a Zoom account or anything like that. But maybe that was part of the problem, because everybody was afraid of COVID, and I'm still afraid of it. So
yeah, I mean, I live in Fresno. That's all I can ask.
Yeah, that's kind of far.
yeah, that makes it a little bit.
What was the tutor's name that was available last year?
Suni, I think it was.
Okay.
That's
I wasn't sure. Yes. I wasn't sure if there was a different tutor, but yes, I'm familiar with Sun. Yes, her son.
Yeah, she's studying this semester. I already visit her. She's there.
She did well, so if she's still there, then you guys are in luck if you want to go visit with her.
Yeah, we have cafecito and pan and everything,
Oh yeah, right.
No me invitaste. Mira que. What I said was, you didn't even invite me. Oh, that's real nice. That's real nice.
I think Maria volunteered cafe, so one of us, we can all take turns to bring conchitas and stuff.
Okay.
That's virtual cafe though.
If you got elotes, I'm there.
Ooh, that sounds good. That
Yeah.
sounds good. I'm so hungry right now.
Those elotes with con crema. Oh my goodness.
And tajin. Parmesan cheese.
You're making me hungry. I'm hungry now.
So this is how we get an A, right?
Look.
Whoever's here who's not a Mexican, they're probably saying, "Are you kidding me? I don't understand a word you're saying."
Más o menos.
Más o menos.
There you go. You're in. You're in.
That's all it takes. When it comes to Mexican food, most people understand it. So.
Yeah.
All right, you bunch of Mexicans, including me. Do you have any other questions, issues, or concerns?
I think we're good to go, but I will go over
Everything's
your
clear.
video again.
Everything's good? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and sign out here. If you have any questions, issues, or concerns, I'm available to you guys. I'm here for you. It's gonna be a difficult time for me. That's my problem. It is tax season. We get bombarded, and for the most part, in about another month or so, I'm gonna be buried, but that's not your problem. If I have rings around my eyes, and I'll be smiling.
We understand.
Okay. So have a wonderful class. I wish you all the luck. Get on top of things. Start on your homework early in the week, so that way if there be issues addressed, we can address them. It's going to be tough for me to try to address issues at about Monday at about noon, because I'm even kind of afternoon, right? So be proactive, be ahead of the game. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoyed all of you. So have a wonderful class.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a great
Bye.
night. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you need help, let us know.
What? Pizza party?
Party at your place.
Right?
Just in Canvas. We'll be there right now.
All right. Bye. Good night.
Good night.